Ever looked at someone successful and wondered, what did they do differently? Was it talent, opportunity, education, or was it something much deeper? The truth is, success isn't usually the result of one big moment. It's built through intentional choices, perseverance, lifelong learning, and the willingness to keep growing, even when the road gets difficult. Hello and welcome to the Main Health Show. I am your host, Stephanie Anderson. Today's guest believes one of the greatest keys to success is to stay hungry, to never stop learning, never stop dreaming, and never stop pursuing the purpose God has placed on your life. His message is especially timely in a world where so many people are searching for direction, considering a career change, starting over, or simply asking themselves, what's next? Joining us today is Mr. Otis Scotty Scott, author and a respected educator and leader whose work with Brain Nation is helping transform the way we think about education, leadership, and preparing the next generation for success. I believe today's conversation will challenge you to think differently and inspire you to take action. Now, let's learn more about our distinguished guest. Otis L. Scott Jr., who I affectionately call Scotty, is a three-time retiree, having honorably served in the United States Air Force before continuing a distinguished careers with CPS Energy and the University of Texas at San Antonio. Rather than slowing down in retirement, he has devoted this chapter of his life to empowering others through education, mentorship, leadership development, and community service. Mr. Scott currently serves as board president of Brain Nation, an innovative educational network committee to transforming learning experiences and expanding opportunities for students across Texas. His dedication to education is matched by his commitment to veterans, aspiring professionals, and future leaders, helping individuals discover their purpose, develop their potential, and pursue lives of significance. An accomplished author, speaker, mentor, and career consultant, Mr. Scott encourages audiences to embrace lifelong learning, resilience, and intentional growth. His book, Stay Hungry, A Roadmap to Success and Achieving Your Dreams, inspires readers to never become complacent, but instead to continually pursue excellent purpose and the courage to dream bigger. Scotty, thank you so much, sir, for coming on my show and being my guest.
Well, thank you for having me, and it's an honor and a privilege to be on this show, and to think about what I've been through as far as the military, CPS Energy, academic institution, UTSA, and now having an opportunity to give back at Brain Nation. Life is wonderful.
As those who were able to listen to the introduction, and as I shared just a few of your accomplishments, you have lived such a life of, some people talk about it, but sir, you walking about it. You are doing a lot and you've done a lot and you haven't stopped. So that's really good to know. So I would say that I first was introduced to you as a fellow of the AALI, the African
hmm
American Leadership Institute, back in 2009, 2010. And I remembered you and your impact on what it was that you done for us, learning more about the Black community and leadership in San Antonio. So when I met you recently at the Black Business Forum, I got to learn about Brain Nation. So I want to ask you about that. I'm going to ask you about your books, want to know about that. And I understand he's writing a new book soon. So we're going
Yes.
to get into all of that. So I want to ask first, Scotty. Your book is titled Stay Hungry,
Hmm.
a roadmap to success in achieving your dreams. Stay hungry is a powerful phrase. What inspired that title, and what does staying hungry really mean to someone who's maybe already experienced a level of success?
The one thing that I have to talk about in that is that the mayor, actually from my hometown, challenged me at one time to look at something I could do to make a difference for that next generation coming up. And passing on some of the experience and knowledge that I've had is one way of doing that. And I felt that through a book I could do it. And a Chinese philosopher once said that 1,000-mile journey begins with one step, and you have to take that step. And this was my step to begin that journey of making a difference for that next generation. And in order to do that, I really wanted to reach out to them and say, this is yours as well. So take that step and make a difference.
Yes, yes. Sometimes people look at their destination and they get intimidated because they may think it's unobtainable to them.
Hmm.
So a lot of times they won't try. But like you so eloquently shared that it just takes one step. You make that one step, subsequently another step after that, and soon that's how everybody does it. Instead of looking too far ahead, just take that one step, and it's courageous to do, but that's just how it's done.
That's you're so right about that.
Yeah.
And if individuals would look at themselves, and what I tell everybody is, look at yourself in the mirror first thing in the morning and think, that individual, I love that person. Because that person is going to be with you for the rest of your life.
Yes.
Every time you look in that mirror. So encourage that person to go out and do things that they think that might not be possible, because the impossible is merely something that's waiting to happen.
I love that. The impossible is just something that's waiting to happen.
Yes.
And everyone knows here that I'm all about affirmations and devotionals or anything that helps you as an individual
Hmm.
to love yourself, encourage yourself, and to stay motivated. And it sounds kind of like that's what your book does. Um, you kind of answered, so I'm going to ask you to expound a little bit.
Okay.
But many people think success is reaching a destination. But your book suggests it's a continual journey. We talked about taking that first step. Once someone, Scotty, achieves one dream, how do they keep growing instead of becoming comfortable in that one area?
I'm going to use this analogy for you.
Okay.
It's like the jungle.
Hmm.
The lion does not eat if he rests on his last kill. He has to constantly be seeking that next meal. The same with us. Maslow talks about, moving up that ladder. And when you talk about moving up that ladder, you may start at the bottom, but in order to move up, you have to keep growing. You have to keep doing things. You have to keep developing yourself. And that's what Stay Hungry is about. You have to stay hungry for the next step and that next journey that you're going to make.
Yes.
Because if you don't, then you won't be able to achieve your dreams, and your dreams are the things that makes your life possible.
That is so true. That is so true. It's like what you shared is kind of like that motivation that keeps you in that continual pursuit
Hmm.
of the next. Because some people get complacent, they become stagnant, and there's still more to the journey.
Right.
So it's kind of sounds like you're just sharing just to continue that onward movement towards the next. Being in military USA,
Hmm.
military city USA, I wanted to talk about you've led in the military,
Hmm.
higher education, and nonprofit organizations. Now, Scotty, looking back, what one leadership lesson uh, has remained true even to today in every chapter of your life? Can you share that? And one lesson that maybe you had to unlearn?
Okay. I think one of the things that that remains true to this day is that you need to not operate from behind the desk. You need to be out in front of the desk and seeing what is going on in order to understand how you can help others. Because if you're just operating from behind the desk, then that's already a roadblock to you. You need to be out there and see, how can I make a difference for these people? And then one thing that I had to unlearn was that I can't do it all. It's not incumbent upon me to do everything. It's incumbent upon me to help grow people and allow them to succeed and be mentored. Because the one thing that people forget is that you need to reach out and find a mentor, somebody that can help you and grow, and along with that, also be your advocate, or another person to be your advocate. Because without that, you're gonna be lost. You don't have that growth and that desire and to meet those needs.
It reminds me of no one man is an island.
Amen.
We need community. And especially as we aspire for growth and to achieve certain things, it really would behoove people to get a mentor. I've had people in my life that I admired what it is that they did.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, not everybody is capable or even open for mentorship because it can be a responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can get someone that can mentor you, but you got to be coachable.
Right.
You have to be prepared and willing to listen, because they may see you going in a direction that may not be beneficial to your growth. So you have to be accountable and different things. So I love the fact that you identified that you can't do this. This is not a journey just for yourself.
Right.
It takes someone else.
And you know, one thing that a lot of times people think that a mentor has to be someone that has gone down that path or that is older than them, and that's not necessarily the case. A mentor can also be younger than you. You know, you could learn from somebody on both ends of the spectrum, and that's what you have to be open to. And I do that each and every day.
It's a great segue to my next point, because I know that you're working with Brain Nation and
Mm-hmm.
the young too. And I really believe there's, especially with this new innovation, with AI and different things, it's going to take us mature people to kind of hook up with these young people, kind of figure out, because it's a whole nother language to this technology. So I want
Right.
to ask you, as board president of Brain Nation,
Mm-hmm.
you're helping shape a new vision for education. How is Brain Nation preparing today's students not just to earn a diploma, but to become confident leaders, innovators, and lifelong learners, which I believe is important?
And thank you for that question, because one of the things, our philosophy is that, first off, they need to feel like they belong. Then, we want to make sure that they're a part of the environment that we have for them, because it's totally different from most academic environments. And then we want them to feel great about themselves. And in order for them to do that, they have to be acceptable and be willing to learn, and not learn in the sense that we're putting a lesson out there and saying, this is how you learn this. No, we want you to be able to explore, and that's why we use the inquiry method for them, so that they're able to really kind of explore what the next great thing is that's going to bring them the knowledge.
So I just came back from my 40th high school reunion this past weekend. So I understand the tenets when it comes to traditional education, but I'm interested in learning more about the explore method, the inquiry, to where it sounds like it's a little bit different, because there's been studies that prove that traditional education is not for everybody, because we have different people who learn different ways. Kind of explain to what you're doing there, Brain Nation.
Okay, the inquiry method requires them to really kind of explore where their interest is and take responsibility for what they're doing, because not everybody learns at the same pace, and not everybody learns how to be responsible, because we want responsible students when they graduate. We want them to find joy in what they're doing. And I'm reminded of several lessons that I've learned from the students where they talked about, these are things such as light pollution. How can we make it better where we don't have that? How can we make it better so that everybody understands each other in society? Those are little things that a lot of times we don't think about, or that we don't teach in traditional education. But by them having that desire and that joy of finding that knowledge, it really elevates them to a new level where they can be innovative and be great citizens of society.
I love that. I love that. That it sounds like Brain Nation has tapped in to a way of helping the young people to embrace a new way of learning that's going to benefit them, because also studies have revealed that when it comes to the job market, there are a lot of people spending a lot of money when it comes to paying for college tuitions, where technical skills, things that are done, with their hands, or outside STEM, or just different things, are really what people should be pursuing. So that may be in that area to where you kind of learn different, you think different, and you can even maybe open up a whole new opportunity for jobs in the future.
And what people don't realize is that we have the K through 12. We also have a daycare center, but we're also in institutions of reform, where some juvenile students and students that may have drug and alcohol concerns, how can we help them? And we're in that body, whereas traditional schools,
They cast them to the side.
exactly.
Cast them to the side, and they can be saved, they can be helped, because maybe at home they're not getting that. So I love that. Now, I don't want to get too far without talking about these books that you have here, and to learn that you are actually in the process of writing a new one. Can you tell us about your first one and then the subsequent one that you've written?
Yes, the first one, Adapt and Overcome, an essay on the student veteran experience. This was a collaboration of students at UTSA, both staff and students, coming together and saying, we need to be able to tell people about our experiences in the military to help them have a better understanding of what it's like. And that's what Adapt and Overcome is about, and how they have overcome some of the challenges that they faced going from that's making a transition from the military to the civilian community. And it's not easy for everyone. And sometimes that can be a tough transition. And that's that book right there. Then we transition over to Stay Hungry, Roadmap to Success and Achieving Your Dreams. Like I said, that book was a challenge presented to me to make a difference in people's lives. And in writing that book, it was one of the things that I wanted to really lay out some of the things that I feel has been able to make me successful, and therefore I hopefully will make other people successful and help them achieve their dreams.
Yeah.
Now my next one, From the Outhouse to the White House, A Chief's Journey. I don't know how many people know this, but only 1% of the enlisted force can be E9 or chiefs in the military, and that's by law. And in coming in, I never thought that one day I would be able to achieve that dream, but by not stopping and saying there is more to life than just what the military is presenting, by achieving education, by learning about other cultures and being challenged, I was able to make that dream come true. And that was only one step in many to continue.
I love that. And I have a feeling, Scotty, that you're not done no way soon. So I'm
Not
looking
even.
forward. I have one more question
Okay.
before we wrap. I've really enjoyed our conversation. I must share that with you. So when we talk about your books, um, you know, Your philosophy is rooted in Maslow's hierarchy of needs
Hmm.
and becoming the best version of ourselves. And in your experience, how much success begins with believing you're worthy of achieving it before you ever accomplish anything. So I guess I'm asking about just share what it takes the mindset to go beyond.
The mindset is that in life you're going to find that there will be a lot of obstacles that will be put in your way. Your journey is to be able to step over, maneuver around, or be able to move those obstacles out of your way and not be afraid to ask for help in the process. Because so many people fail to reach out to others and say, "Can you help me?" It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of understanding and being able to know that you too will be able to do the same for someone else one day.
I love that. Again, we go back to no one man is an island, and we
That's
need
right.
community, and we need others in order to make it to the next level.
And I want to share something in one of my books right here.
Yes, please.
I grew up listening to Dr. Martin Luther King, and one of the things he says, the individuals not start living until they can rise above the narrow confines of their individual concerns to the broader concerns of all humanity. That in and of itself says that you can achieve what you want
Yes.
and be that individual that's going to make a difference in our society.
It is so true. And with that being said, it is a mindset, but it sounds like what you've done over the years and what you're continuing to do, especially with Brain Nation, is there is a segment of society of students who need that extra. They need support from, if they're not getting it home, they can come to a school that helps them to believe that they can achieve. And again, we go with the mindset that being in a structured environment, like we've said, the traditional educational system does not work for everyone. So finding out and helping them to focus on what their interest is. I knew I loved hair from a very early age, and I had other interests, but that was my gifting, and that was what I was interested in, and it became a career,
Hmm.
a successful one at that. So sometimes it's just asking, what is it that you like to do, what interests you, and that kind of builds that excitement for them to want to go deeper in it. So I love that concept of what it is that you do, and I definitely believe in the quote that you shared by Dr. King.
So I could not have said that better myself. That was excellent the way you put it, because for them to 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 be them to for them to be able to inquire, find joy, and be great is what Brain Nation is all about.
I love it. I tell you, this time goes by so fast. I'm sure, Scotty, there is someone who's going to view this episode who's going to want to get in contact with you, maybe learn more about Brain Nation and the other endeavors that you have. Do you mind sharing your contact information with the audience, please?
No, I love it. And it's real easy to get in contact with me because it's getscotty@outlook.com. GETSCOTTY at outlook.com. And feel free, if you need to, reach out, call me, 210-274-8121. And go out and find your joy, because the world is waiting on you.
You heard it right there. Thank you so much, Scotty, for everything that you're doing, and especially for taking out the time to join me here at the Main Health Show. That's going to be all for this episode of the Main Health Show. I'm your host, Stephanie Anderson. Until next time, take care and be blessed. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Thank you.